This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football. We are life in football.
Welcome to the Life in Football podcast, baby. I'm your host, Mike Fee.
And this your co-host, Cole and Moore. You know we loving life and enjoying football.
Top-notch players all around the world. Top-notch players all around the world. Today, we got none other than the national champion, Florida Gators, Ahmad Black, wearing that 35 when he was playing for the Gators. But y'all know what's so special? When he was at Lakeland, he was doing the same thing, Lakeland High School, state champion as well. Now, let me tell y'all something. This a ball player. When Deion Sanders be talking about dogs, he was a dog. And he was a ball player that inspired all the safeties out there because you had, back in the day, you had safeties like a Bob Sanders. You had Sean Taylor. I put him right in that mix, especially in college, because he was somebody, when you watch them Gators, he was going to come up, hit you. He going to go get that ball. And better yet, he was an all-out athlete, man. And not only today is he still involved in the game of football, but he's a businessman. And this somebody who got a very special story. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let C-Mo bring him on.
How you doing, Coach?
What's up, man?
Coach, businessman.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a blessing to have you on. I got to get two things out on it, Mike, before I even jump into my real question. So I'm going to ask you how you want to start. I can ask you about high school, what I found out, or I can really start you on draft day. So which one you want?
Let's go high school. That's a little bit early.
High school, okay.
Yeah, chronological
So
order.
somehow they got your film on Twitter, and you on there catching the pick. So I said, let me click on it. I click on it, go all the way to YouTube. I run it all the way back. I see you in red and black. I say red and black. Hold on. This Kathleen? He had Kathleen? So I called Stu. Hey, Stu, Black was at Kathleen? But the crazy thing about it was, you was making so many plays at Kathleen that I was like, he was going to be a baller regardless. So it went to school. It went because you had an L on your helmet. You was making plays in that black and red. And I said, dang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why he did? Because you was the man, period. So you got to tell me how you went from wearing that red and black to wearing orange and black. Like, that's my first before I really get in it.
It was just weird, because my dad had went to Kathleen, you know what I'm saying? And growing up, I always was like, man, I wanted to go to Kathleen like my dad. And, I played basketball with the Lakeland Fire. So a lot of the Fire kids go to Kathleen. And I had grew up with them cats in the neighborhood and whatnot. I'm actually zoned for Jenkins. So from when I was living on 10th Street. So that was weird. But it started off so rocky. It's so crazy because I was really good in sports growing up before I even got to high school.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was time to go to high school from 8th to 9th grade, before I even got in 9th grade, my dad had put the transfer papers in so I don't have to go to Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a class that Jenkins didn't offer. Now, back then, you couldn't just go where you want to go like they can now, right? So I started doing, the summer workouts with Kathleen and whatnot. I was in 9th grade, and I was playing football and basketball, and I get a call one day, and they're like, "Hey, sorry to let you know, but you're ineligible for this upcoming your 9th grade year in sports." I'm like, "What you mean?" And we're like, "Well, the people at George Jenkins notified the FHSAA that you were supposed to be there, and it's a recruiting violation. You got recruited to go to Kathleen." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I knew I was going to Kathleen. I remember playing the video games and stuff, making the Kathleen team when I was little. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how? So they were like, you can't play no sports for 365 days. No football, no basketball, no baseball, no soccer, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, we me and Adele Bell, he played basketball. He was living with me at the time. He had some family issues. So, my parents accepted him and brought him in. But I was like, man, we both ineligible. Like, how is this? So we had to get like a little quick lawyer and whatnot. Go to a hearing. So we just plead our case and whatnot, what was going on, tell them we didn't get recruited. And, they had a judgment at the end, all in favor of these guys being ineligible, say aye. They went around the board. Aye. Oh, God dang. So it was a little bit heartbreaking just having to just go to school, not being able to play sports. I've been playing sports my whole life, and now I can't play for a whole year. Like, how am I going to balance that, right? So it took a lot out of me, because my grades started slipping a little bit. I was just kind of like being defiant a little bit at home. And I'm a 14-year-old, you know what I'm saying? And then going into 10th grade, that spring, I played a little solid, you know what I'm saying? And
For Jenkins?
no, I would stay at Kathleen.
Oh.
Yeah, I never went to Jenkins. I never did anything for Jenkins. So that's why I was confused on how they even thought I was going to go there. You know what I'm saying? So going to 10th grade, now I'm at Kathleen still. I turned up. I was the only sophomore star, and I didn't know I was going to start to the day before Lake Gibson game. Like, I guess the dude that they had starting, I guess we were doing walkthroughs, and I guess Coach Tate, that's at Bartow.
Yeah.
Coach Tate got tired of him and was like, get him out of there. Like, Ahmad, get in. I'm like, bro, we playing Lake Gibson tomorrow. That's when they went to state. They had Matt Grothy and all them boys.
And he was balling.
Yeah, and Frazier and all that.
Yeah.
So after I picked him off the next game, now I was like, all right, cool, you solid.
Yeah.
So my first 3 games at Kathleen, I had an interception. And I'm like, dang, this is my first year playing high school. Like, I got an interception. The first 3 games of the season, you know what I'm saying? So I turned up. I think I finished with like 10, bro, and as a sophomore. I had like 2 punt returns for touchdowns. I had a kickoff return for a touchdown. And I was just all over the place. So it was no way I was going anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? This is my school. So we lost in the playoffs to school down in Miami. And, we was just getting ready for the next year. And out of 11 people on defense, only 3 of us was going to come back. I was the only sophomore, and then the other 2 was going to be seniors, and I was going to be a junior. We get on the morning news, and Coach Tate get up there. He was like, yeah, man, we had a great season. We stuck it out, through the thick and thin, and, all this here. But then when he got done, he was like, and I'm letting you guys know I'm officially stepping down as head coach at Kathleen. I'm like, what? So I was in the class with Scott Bryant. He played linebacker. So Scott looked back at me. He was like, you trying to go to Lakeland? And jokingly, I was like, man, let's slide, let's go. So about like a couple days later, Scott looked back at me and passed me a note. I'm like, what's on here? So I look at the note. This man said, hey, man, this is my last day at Kathleen. Don't say nothing. Mind you, spring football finna come up. So I'm like, dang, you know what I'm saying? So, boom, I ain't say nothing. Boom, he was gone like the next day. So now they started getting wind of, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure mine don't go nowhere. So that's when we had Coach Brian Armstrong come in to be the next head coach of Kathleen. Drew Taylor was there for basketball. So it was just all day long, every day for about a week or so. Like, they're just trying to make sure I wasn't going nowhere, trying to keep me there. Well, I go to church, and one of the coaches was at the church, and he was like, man, this new coach coming in, he don't have the personnel to run the defense that he's trying to run. It was like, if I was you, like, keeping it a buck, I'll go to Lakeland.
That's a blessing, boy.
So I'm like, dang, like, one of the Kathleen coaches telling me this. So I ain't say nothing, I'm like, okay, cool, you know what I'm saying? But it just so happened, one of the Kathleen players was at the church too. So me being a kid, I'm like, hey, bro, I just talked to coach, man. He's stressing, if I was you, I'd go to the L. This kid run back and tell the new head coach. So I'm in there lifting weights one day with some of the upperclassmen, and they pulled me out of the weight room, was like, hey, did coach tell you should, leave and go to Lakeland? And I'm looking around like, bro, and I'm looking at, it was a couple coaches that was up there. I'm looking around like, dang, dog, like, this man really went back and told him, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I had to keep it a buck. I was like, he told me that, but he didn't really mean it that way. Like, I was trying to defend him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, nah, he didn't mean it like that. But, we, in a roundabout way, we just talking about, he was looking out for me. You know what I'm saying? The coach that told me that was standing right there, too, with the new head coach. The new head coach looked at him and said, you fired.
Nah. Wow.
So the coach was like, you going to fire me over something like this? He was like, yeah, you telling our best player to go to our rival school.
Wow.
He was like, he asked him one more time, he's like, you going to fire me over something like this? And coach was like, yeah. So he swung on him, bro. They started fighting. Dang. Like, so all this going on. So they fired him. About a couple of days later, they started the process up again, having me meet with them and trying to get me to stay and, selling me a dream. So at the time, I got a daughter now. She's 17. She's going to be 18. I had just had her. And I was like, man, I'm trying to, because at the time football wasn't really my high priority. I was good at it, but I got a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, I had a little job or whatever. So it's gonna be spring football. So I'm like, first day of spring practice, I'm like, hey coach, you know what I'm saying? If you want me how you say you want me, I got a job. I got to go to work.
Right.
This ain't even a real practice for real. It's spring. He was like, oh no, you good. So I said, okay, cool. Next thing you know, we get out of the practice. I stay a little bit longer than what I'm supposed to. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for me to go. He got mad. So one of the other coaches had the keys. He threw me the keys. So I go, get my stuff and whatever, change. While I'm in there, I remember this vividly. It's another cat in there. I throw him the keys. I was like, hey, go take these back to the coach.
That was it.
So I'm walking back. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm straight. They just mad because I'm going to work. I'm walking back out to go to my car. They talking about, hey, I gave you my MF keys. You better bring me. Oh, who y'all talking to, bro? Man, come on, dog. You tripping? I'm the best thing since sliced bread around here right now. So I say, okay, cool. So I go home. Scott was already gone, to the L. He was already practicing because spring had started.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at my daddy. I was like, man, I told my dad everything that happened. I said, man, I want to go to Lakeland. And just walked out the house. So me thinking at work, I'm like, man, my dad ain't finna let me do that. Like, he went to Kathleen. Like, you know what I'm saying? I come home, transfer papers already typed up and everything.
Ooh, ready.
So we get it and go to Kathleen, right?
Mm-hmm.
They like, nah, hold on 1 second. They go to the back. They call the FHSAA again, bro. Kathleen called this time. They like, he trying to leave, like, da-da-da. So I get wind of it. Instead of me transferring to Lakeland right then, they told me I had to sit the rest of the year at Kathleen. Now, mind you, I already know I'm leaving after this.
Mm-hmm.
Now the players get wind of it. The coaches get wind of it. Even the teachers, bro. I had a teacher pass me back a paper and was like, "Here you go, trader."
Oh, what?
So it was getting real weird. But at the end of the day, man, I got to do what's best for me. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I had an offer from Kentucky. I think Kentucky was like my first offer. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew I could go to school. I already knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? But I got to do what's best for me. And I just felt like everybody was in trying to just do what's best for them, right? What's best for what they think the best outcome would be for them. And it wasn't about them. This is my story. So I had to write it the way I wanted to write it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was able to transfer, man, after that season and go to Lakeland. But it was just, fighting with guys from Kathleen, literally fist fighting, in that summer. And it was just wild, man, because I felt like they felt like I betrayed them. But in reality, bro, now that we adults, we all speak on it. We all cool and stuff, you got to understand all what I was going through and what I had going on. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of see it now.
Right.
Can't help but see that one. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Man, nobody would have never guessed that. I'd have never guessed that was the backstory of it. I just would have thought that boy wanted to wear the L, but
because I was going to stay there. I was going to stick it out. But it was just something telling me don't talk to me like that, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like treat people how you want to be treated, especially like if they're a great asset to your team. Now I wasn't saying I was the whole team because that's a team.
Right.
But I was a huge asset of that team. So for them to talk to me sideways like they did, they kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Right. And me being a kid too, instead of pulling them to the side, I'm like, hey, you should have did this and that.
Right.
I just bailed. I'm like, because I slick wanted to go. I had Randy in my ear too, so I slick wanted to go to the L already. And Randy had been trying to get me to go to Lakeland from the jump.
Right.
Because we went to middle school and stuff together too. So he was trying to get me to go to Lakeland from the jump. I always thought it was cool that Lakeland would let the incoming 9th graders, while they're in 8th grade, like work out and stuff.
Nah.
Yeah. So Randy, so Coach Castle's son went to our school too.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the same grade as us. So Coach Castle would pick up his son and Rainey, and they're like, go work out and whatnot.
Go get it.
They're the only school that was doing that. Nobody else was doing that.
Wow. Bro, that's crazy because you would never thought that all that going down, trying to tear you down, like, they must have knew their jobs was going to be on the line for that. But the real thing too, though, I always tell Mike, if my sons ever play football, I got a son that just turned 1 month, last week or something like that. And then, appreciate it. And then I got another son that's 7.
Okay.
And he at Victory. Okay. My kid's going to pretty much go to Victory unless God give me something else. But I told Mike, I always tell Mike, nobody should be cussing at nobody. I don't care what we talking about. You shouldn't cuss at me. I ain't cussing at my sons or my daughter. I ain't cussing at kids. I'm not cussing at them. So why you cussing? So I feel you on that. As a father, I'm doing just what your dad do. He cussed you out?
Yeah.
No, we ain't cussing nobody out.
Yeah.
Because think about this. You ain't gonna cuss that principal out when you mad.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna cuss that teacher out when you mad.
Yeah.
You really ain't. You wouldn't cuss Judge Grady out when you mad.
Yeah.
So no, don't give me that.
Yeah.
So you can hold that.
So, yeah.
You can hold that.
But
he just wanted to lay out, and then he lost his best player. So
ultimately lost me. So again, it's such great relationships that I built there. I don't really too much rep Kathleen as much, but I still love. I mean, that school was awesome, bro. Just being in that environment, bro, it was different. Going to school at Kathleen, bro. I'm telling you right now, it's nothing like going to Kathleen. Like nothing.
Man.
When I went to Lakeland, it was nothing like Kathleen. As far as like how the school is structured and whatnot. Now Lakeland got a little bit more structure.
Right.
You feel me? Like they go about it. This the plan. This what we gonna do. Da da da. Kathleen is just like, y'all do what y'all want to do, but this is what's gonna happen. And it 11 minutes between classes and all kind of stuff.
That's supposed to happen.
No, all kind of stuff at Kathleen. But I won't trade that for nothing. The way I went about everything, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I would never say I want to go to. I would wish I would have went to Lakeland for 4 years.
Wow,
I gotta taste. I gotta taste both of them.
Yeah, see, nobody wouldn't expect to hear that.
Yeah,
they don't. You gonna shock some people.
They don't want to hear that.
Nah, I wouldn't have did that. I got an opportunity to play in the Lakeland Kathleen game 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
No, when I was in school, we was bringing in 10,000 people plus.
Yeah, it was
literally. I think they put in Bryant Stadium across from where the Jumbotron is in the other end zone. They put them bleachers there. I think the band is there, but they put them bleachers there because they had so many people coming to that game. They put that in there when we was in school. You see what I'm saying? And I had an opportunity because when we played Lakeland Kathleen 10th grade, my 10th grade year, the year before that had got canceled. And that's when Lakeland had a meningitis breakout or something like that. So everybody was expected it anyway because Lakeland had beat Kathleen for so many years, and that's the year they felt like Kathleen could beat them. Because Kathleen was undefeated that regular season, but I couldn't play. That was my 9th grade year. So they was undefeated that whole year. They was like 9-0 going into the Lakeland game. Lakeland had lost like 2 or 3 games already. So they was like, Kathleen, this the one right here. Yeah. Then the game get canceled. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then shake back the next year, right? I'm still at Kathleen. We lost one game. We lost to Grothy them on the last drive. But then we won all the rest of the games, and Lakeland was undefeated.
Oh.
So it was 8-1 Kathleen and 9-0 Lakeland.
Right.
Man, that thing was pumping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that thing,
out to the max.
Oh man, bro.
The whole Lakeland.
I'm telling you, it's on YouTube right now. Go look at it. Whenever y'all done. If it's not on YouTube, I know for sure it's on Kathleen's football Facebook page. It's the 2004 Lakeland Kathleen game.
I'm gonna look it up.
Man, that game was crazy, bro. Randy beat us at the end. We lost in 1917.
Good game.
Because you got to understand, we had two guys on our team at Kathleen that went to the league.
Ooh.
Me and Jamel McClellan.
Okay, that's right. He
So
did,
our
he
front
was with the Ravens.
He won the Super Bowl with the Patriots too. So our front seven was so crazy.
Oh.
With me in the back end, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other side, you got Kendra Stewart and all them.
And
Randy Dobie and
right.
And George Allen. You got John Brown down there.
Deep.
Yeah, man. They had Steve Chancey and all them guys and Chris Griffin at quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and Paul Wilson at wide receiver. So they were stacked too. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good game. And for them to win state and they only beat us by 2 points.
That could have been y'all.
And we threw an interception in the red zone. Yeah. Oh, man. So we always talk about the what ifs, you know what I'm saying? But it was just a great experience all the way around.
Nah. My thing about the draft, I watched the draft really since 98. I was watching, like my 8th grade year, for some reason, I turned it on. I'm in the, because normally I only watch NFL, but getting ready to go to high school that next year, you want to watch college. So that 98, I'm ready. Watching the draft, because 98, I'm finna go to 9th grade. So I'm like, boom. 8th grade, watching that draft. So I done watched the draft all the way up. Your draft come. I'm watching the draft so hard that the Bucks are up to pick. Small world, it's just crazy that God got me sitting here with you. Small world, the Bucks getting ready to draft. As the ticker going, I say, hey, y'all, come in here. They gonna get Ahmad Black. Watch. He ain't even finna leave Florida. The boy finna be like 30 minutes from the crib. I bet they get him. Watch they get him. Now, I don't know what made me feel that.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was at when it happened. Now this ain't even me getting drafted. This you, and I know where I was at when it happened.
That's
I
cool.
don't remember the time, but I remember when it happened. Boom, I'm waiting on the pick. I'm waiting on it like my son finna get picked. Boom, the pick run by. Ahmad Black, Gators. I'm like, what? That's crazy. I said that. Like, I said, I could actually draft players because I knew they was gonna get like.
Absolutely.
Basically, I could have drafted. Dog, I could. Skill guys, I could draft. I could just draft it. Like I seen your film and I knew you were 5. So then that was that high school stuff. That's how I found that Kathleen. So I was like, man, God done blessed me with that eye where when I see players, I just know once I see them, they that boy. Like when I know that boy, when they that guy, I call him.
Yeah.
When I seen your film, but you was already the guy. So but when I saw the film, I was like, dang, that's how what he did at Kathleen. Like, ooh. So I knew if I'd have seen that as a scout, I don't care what size you was, I'm coming to get you. So where you was at that day you got picked?
It's so funny because I told the story literally yesterday. I had a draft party in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom has 9 brothers and sisters, and 2 of them stay on the same street. Because I originally was born in Orlando, so I moved here in '95 when I was like 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So when people ask me, I'm from Lakeland because that's where I spend majority of my time.
Right.
And so my 2 aunties live like right across the street from each other, like 2-3 houses down.
Mm-hmm.
So we was doing it at my one auntie house where it had blown me a little bit because I was the #1 safety coming out of college.
Right.
But then my size and then the slow 40, it kind of like pushed me back. But also it was a weak safety draft, right? So the first safety got picked in the 2nd round.
Okay.
So that kind of pushed everything back. You know what I'm saying? So when I see this safety get picked and then this one and then this one, and I was like probably 4th or 5th safety that got drafted. It was like, these dudes getting drafted in front of me I was a first-team All-American at Florida. I won a national championship. I was 2 interceptions away from all-time interception leader at Florida. By the way, I got them. They just got called back. One of them because the guy hit the receiver too early. Had nothing to do with me. And the other one, I picked 6 Coach Mullen when he was at Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And they said that the D lineman hit the quarterback helmet. I'm all-time leader in interceptions in Gator history at the University of Florida, right? So, when guys were getting picked before me, it was just weird, man. So I was already upset a little bit. Mm-hmm. I remember calling Mike Pouncey because Mike had just got picked to the Dolphins. I was telling him how cool it was. He get to stay in Florida.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm gonna tell you how weird this gets. So my mom knew I was upset. Mm-hmm. So everybody at my one auntie house, she was like, "Let's go to your other auntie house, up the road. I had to take me a shower and stuff." So I was like, "All right, come on." So we go over there and that was with my girlfriend from college at the time. Mm-hmm. And we go over there and whatnot, and I'm just upset. So I get up. I say I'm gonna walk to the kitchen. And chick was like, "Yeah, man, the Bucks pick next." I was like, "Man, I don't care nothing about that, man. Like, I'm upset." You know what I'm saying? Boom, I walk in the kitchen and come back, and my phone was on the table, and it started buzzing, bro, and it said 813, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, bro.
Yeah.
Because I always grew up a Bucks fan.
Right.
My mom's sister used to cheer for the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't have any kids, so I was like her kid. That was like my favorite aunt. You know what I'm saying? I know you're supposed to have favorites, but I was like my favorite. So anytime my mom said I couldn't get something,
you call her.
Okay, cool, that's straight. I'm just gonna stay at auntie house this weekend.
I'm getting that.
I'm gonna get that. You know what I'm saying? So she invested a lot of time in me too, man. So I always loved the Bucks. Even when they was in orange and white at the Houlihan Stadium before they built Raymond James.
With that little stadium that go like that. Yeah.
Old sombrero. So that was cool, man. But what was really cool is, me seeing the Bucks win the Super Bowl in 2002, and seeing Rondé Barber pick that thing off
and take it back
in the game before the Super Bowl in Philly, and watching the boys beat up on the Raiders. And I got an opportunity to play with Rondé Barber, and that's what I'm most proud about. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to play at the highest level possible. And get drafted by my favorite team, and then on top of that, get 3 years in at least. That's what you need to get vested. So now I'm a vested player. I get trolls all the time like, "Oh, you only played 3 years in the league." Well, how many you played?
0.
You see what I'm saying? And at the same time, like, I may not get as much money as a Tom Brady, or a Rondé Barber who played 16 years, or Peyton Manning. We got the same benefits.
Right.
We played the same, same amount of time.
Right.
Like,
right.
The threshold, we played that, at least 3 years. So we both, I get a lot of the benefits they get, you know what I'm saying? And it's just dope, man, just to be able to say I played in the league, got drafted by my favorite team, right by home, got a lot of love from the Florida area and whatnot. I just enjoyed it, man, and you know, it's a blessing from God, really. You know, I ain't even gonna take no credit from it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I enjoyed it for real.
Now y'all gotta notice this the first AB that was playing for the Bucks, Ahmad Black. Now I gotta show y'all this jury that he got on his hand right there. Show, put
Don't
that,
blind
show,
them now. Don't
don't
blind
hurt
them.
him. Get a close up on that. Yeah. Nice. He got that national championship Florida Gator ring. Now, my reason for showing this ring and bringing this up is because it's something very special about the team he was on and the accomplishments they made. This was one of the most historic teams in college football. And you got certain teams, right? You got that Miami Hurricane team where they had all these guys get drafted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, them team, Florida State, where all the guys got drafted. You had a lot of teams that was actually from guys from Florida and Florida teams that played on the national champion, played in the national championship, and played at a high level. Now the coach he played for was Urban Meyer, and we always hear a lot of negative information about Urban, and I just want to know from him and get his take on how was it, cause that's the guy who eventually helped him get to the NFL and helped him win the national championship. So I want to know how it was for you playing for Urban and how you end up picking Florida as well.
Man, dog, everything go back to Chris Rainey, dog. I think this man is a menace in my life, bro. Because this man, he always make me make decisions that I kind of be on the rocks with, that he just really just be so excited about. You know what I'm saying? That just goes to show you how much I value him, and you know, and I tell him all the time, man. You know, he had a hard upbringing and whatnot, and I'm always gonna be here for him. I don't care what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's my boy, but. It all started, man. You know, Urban's a great dude. Let's just start with there, man. And you know, they can get a bad rap for some things and whatnot. And people want to hate him anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and now things come out that just give him a
Yeah,
reason. Give him
yeah.
a reason they really hate him. You know, people hated Tebow, and you know the whole saga that we was getting with Tebow. And you know, you got to understand, like some people just they do great things, and people like just hate them. Like you can look, for instance, look at LeBron James. This man start schools and all that, man. He get back to his community. He do the right thing. He don't get in trouble. He don't do none of that.
Right.
People just hate this man
Crazy.
because he's good. You know, this man never once said, I don't think, that he wanted to be, you know, compared to Jordan, but that's what people do. You know, it's sports talk. You know, as fans. But with Urban, man, he just he's such a guy that loves football. He eat, sleep, crap football, and he does it at a high level, man. And you know. We were talking yesterday, and you know, he will always say his plan is infallible. If you do his plan the way that he's telling you to do it, it can't fail, right? And that's how we were able to be so successful with him being there, bro. Because we had guys that bought into that program. And he put a lot of sweat, blood, and tears into that program to where he weeded out all of the stuff that ain't supposed to be there. So in his recruitment and whatnot, he got guys who will be valuable to our locker room. No cancers on the team. He weeded out all the cancers when he first got there from Ron Zook. You know what I'm saying? So it's so funny because I was getting looked at from everywhere. And now some of the schools were just wanting me because they, you know, I was close with Pouncey and Rainey and all that. But also I was a great player too. So at the time I was getting high looks from LSU, Alabama, and Ohio State. And you know, I was gonna choose out of them three, but I also wanted to go to school where somebody on my high school went, you know, going at, because I wanted to, you know, at least know somebody.
Right.
You feel me? So we had so many players. We had like 7 or 8 go D1 on that, on that team, like big schools. And then, you know, so 9. I think 9. We had 9 go to D1. And we just had 7 at Florida. And, you know, I wanted to go to school with, you know, with somebody from high school. And at the time, Pouncey was committed to Florida State. Because they committed to Florida State first. So I was going to commit to LSU. That was my school. That's where I was gonna go. Jordan Hammond, he changed his last name to Corbin. Jordan was going there, and I'm like, man, we gonna do it. So we pulled up on we were on Bartow Road at the McDonald's, right there on Bartow, and LSU kept blowing my phone up. Coach Earl Lane, ain't gonna never forget. And I'm like, I'm finna do it. I'm finna commit. And Randy had committed to Florida already. So Randy was committed to Florida because he told him off the jump, he going to Florida. Don't even offer him. As soon as Florida offer him, he taking it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Pouncey was at Florida State. So I'm like, all right, cool. Jordan had committed to LSU. And so I was like, all right, so we in McDonald's, and I pick up the phone. So I call LSU. I'm like, hey, coach, I'm ready to commit. That man told me on the phone, all right, cool. Well, we got to pull some offers from scholarships from a couple guys before we can let you commit.
Oh.
I'm like, damn, like y'all ain't want saying that yesterday.
Yeah,
Day
yeah,
before that,
yeah.
day before that. You know what I'm saying? So I had called my high school coach because we was all supposed to go up to a Florida camp that weekend, and I'm telling the Lakeland coach, I'm like, Coach Taylor, man, I ain't going to the Gator camp because I'm going to LSU. Ain't no point in me going to Gator
Right.
camp. Gators ain't even offering me yet, so it ain't really
Yeah.
ain't no point in me going and playing. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, it's already paid for. You should go, man. I think it'll be a great opportunity. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go up there the next day or whatever, a couple days after that, and we up there and we in the stadium, and they were like, all right, we can do some 1-on-1s. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm getting ready to do 1-on-1s. So the coach at the time was Billy Gonzalez. He was our coach at Florida, wide receiver coach, and he was just there with Mullen too.
Right.
So it's hard kind of when you got like a bunch of high school kids and whatnot. They don't know the same lingo, right? So you can't say, hey, give me a post corner and, give me out the stem tree, stem him inside, because everybody ain't really
You
on the
ain't
same
got
level.
ready to do it yet.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So what he was doing was he had a football like Sandlot.
Yeah.
He was showing them the route. The problem with that, bro, I could see every route he was drawing. People don't know that, bro.
So you watching the whole thing?
I'm jumping every pass, bro. I jump every pass. I'm talking about I was a phenom out there. I'm grabbing everything, bro. I swear to God, I swear, bro. I was cheating, bro, bad. So listen, so I couldn't let them know, I was cold like that.
Yeah.
So I let one dude like kind of like do me a little bit, but I kind of like was there. You feel me? And so when we get done, right, we still on the field. Urban Meyer come up to me and was like, hey, I'm offering you right now. Take it or leave it.
Oh, boy.
So I'm like, dang, I ain't even talked to my parents yet. I ain't even gonna count. I grew up Florida State fan. So I'm like, man, I ain't even talking to my dad. I ain't talking to my mom. Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Pressure.
Man, I look around him. Here go Rainey.
Smiling in the back.
Come on, man. Come on. Man, you might as well just come. I'm like, dog, like, so I'm like, I don't know. So I'm like, he was like, take it or leave it. And I'm like, bro, I can really decommit if I want to. You know what I'm saying? People weren't really doing that. But I'm like, if I didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
At this time, I never even been to a Gator game before. I had been to all like Florida State games, different schools and whatnot.
Right.
So I was like, all right, cool. So boom, he dapped me up. We hugged. So boom, you got two people from Lakeland going to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So before we left, anytime we would go up there, we would go visit the coaches and whatnot, and the coaching staff, and thank you for the hospitality and whatnot. And we about to go back to Lakeland, and we went up there, and Pouncey Twins was committed to Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
But these dudes, I don't know what Urban told them. He was like, yeah, Ma committed last night. And I just got him on board.
Oh.
They decommitted to Florida State right then, bro. And committed to Florida.
So y'all changed that man's life. Y'all changed Urban Meyer life,
Man,
honestly.
Listen, bro.
Tebow and y'all boys changed that man's life.
Yeah. So this was July. This was July 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I had never been to a Gator game.
Oh.
Fast forward, August, September is when the season started.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they won that year. So I committed before they won in 06.
Right.
All of us committed, so we had an opportunity to go to every game as recruits.
Yeah.
I already committed to national championship year, bro.
So that was the best year to go.
Oh my God, dog. It was crazy, bro. Like we really enjoyed that time, man. And just when I went to my first Gator game, they played UCF. And they just did it to UCF.
Yeah.
And UCF be with that fat mouth now. They were running from us back then. They didn't win a couple games, and they beat us. They beat us. Come on, bro. They beat us.
Right.
We would have played them any other year, bro. Especially with Kyle Pitts and all of them on the team. We boat racing them, bro.
Yeah.
You want to come get us when we ain't got no coach. We ain't got half the players ain't even playing. Like AR ain't playing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then act like you won the Super Bowl. Like, man, we gonna meet again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, Herb is, he was almost like a father figure. Now we were bumping heads a lot, man. Like my freshman year. I remember my first practice. I had been pulling my hamstring like up into camp, bro. I
Mhm.
just kept pulling it. You know, I don't know if it was my running style. They switched that up a lot. But it was the first day of real practice, first
Mhm.
day of camp. And I was sitting out there, and we had something called a pit. And it
Mhm.
was like a practice simulator. So, like, when you hurt, you know, dudes be sitting on the side with a towel. And, nah, it ain't none of that. The pit is designed to make you want to practice more than you don't want to practice. So you ain't finna go to the pit because you finna be,
Beat down.
bro, you finna be over there crab crawling in beach sand. You finna be over there hugging the pole for time, all kind of stuff,
Oh.
lifting weights,
Yeah.
everything. So you be like, man, I want to go to practice. But I'm playing corner at the time. My hamstring messed up. You know, so I go over there to the pit after we warm up and stuff.
Mhm.
Eric looked at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's so animated. So he's like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Coach, I can't go." He was like, "What do you mean you can't go? Let's go. You got to go." And I'm like, "Man, I can't really. I'm playing corner too. It ain't like I'm playing."
And you're
Yeah,
a
you-
freshman. You're
Yeah,
a freshman, right?
I'm a freshman,
Yeah.
bro.
You running
Ain't-
all day.
Ain't like I'm playing guard or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He looked over at the trainer, at one of the strength and conditioning coaches. He was like, "Get this bag of shit off my field."
Dang.
So it was like, dang, like he really called me that.
Mhm.
So I had been there for a whole spring, you know, because
Mhm.
I enrolled in January. Our first day of class was the National Championship Day in 06. That was my
Wow.
first day of class. So he said that. So I get on the golf cart with the strength and conditioning coach. We go back to the stadium. Literally, bro. These boys finna start practice, and I'm over here at the stadium by myself. There's nobody in there. I'm in the locker room looking around, like, you know how Will be on the
When
Fresh
that
Prince.
dad left? Yeah,
looking in there,
yeah.
He looking around. That's
Yeah.
how I was in the locker room for real, bro. And
Oh.
so I called my mom and my dad, and I'm like, man, I telling him what he did. So to this day, my dad really got animosity with her still. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like just let it go because I was with him every day. You know, we man relationships with my dad wasn't. My dad really ain't too much hot on him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I told my parents I didn't want to be here because I had been there for a spring. It ain't like I just got there. I had been there for a whole semester. I was like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. And I done seen so many people do that. You know, come to college and just leave. You know, and so I text my DB coach, and I was like, hey, when you get back, I need to see you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gone. So they get back. I go upstairs to my DB coach, and he's like, hey, what do you want to see me about? I say, Coach, I don't even want to play football no more. It's like it ain't fun. It's not. You know. He looked at me and said, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. Get your ass out of my office.
Oh.
Now, in the hindsight, now I know because me and my DB coach are real good friends.
Mhm.
He used to always tell me, don't be worried when I coach you hard. Be worried when I stop coaching you. Now I resonate, you know what I'm saying? Because now I coach kids and stuff, and I understand, right? Because he cared for me. That's why he told me to get out of there. He knew how great I could be, bro. They knew that. You know what I'm saying? I just had to come to men's with it, you know? They knew I was gonna be a hit. They just, you know, Urban didn't know for real. Because even the next year, Urban still didn't want to play me. I went for my story is so crazy. Like I don't even know who got as much time, but my story is so crazy, bro. Like I'm in the process right now writing a book. Like it's wild, bro. How I go from basically zero to one of the best players ever to play at Florida, ever, bro.
Right.
Like they ranked me the number 3 safety to ever play at Florida. The dudes in front of me, my stats way better than them. And I seen an article. That's the first sentence. It says Ahmad Black has the best stats out of everyone.
So you basically won.
I'm basically one.
Yeah.
I'm okay with 3 because that's a blessing, bro. I ain't trying to put. I'm a team player at first.
Right.
You know, I don't care about all that. But to be blessed to even be named, mentioned with some of them guys, it's just crazy. I mean, it's gratifying. It says a lot, you know, to my work ethic, you know, and how much success I had.
Well, we got a great story here today. And y'all heard he say he gonna drop that book, so y'all know we gonna bring him back. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off.
Mike, let me get one thing, because I know the players. You could drop it off, you could cut it off, but I want to say this because I know it's players out here in this country that y'all small. You might be 5'7", you might be 5'8", you might be 5'9". And you know they recruiting all the big wide receivers. They recruiting all the big DBs. So I always search the small players because I wasn't that tall. So I need to see a short guy. I need to see a short guy, and then I need to see him where they ain't got to run a fast 40. they can match. They could be in the ballpark like a normal human being. Like everybody running 4.4s, everybody running 4.3s, everybody 6.4. Dog, you 5'9", making plays no matter what. I heard one time, I think you said you was about 150 when you went to school.
Yeah, so I was 155, man. I remember my first day at Florida. I stepped on the scale and the coach said, "Step off." Stepped off. He said, "Step back on." He thought the scale was broke, bro. I was 155. This how I go, bro. So as a freshman, I was playing corner. They moved me to safety, right, at Florida State game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play much, my freshman year, just special teams. And then I remember we playing Michigan in the bowl game, and Urban Meyer circled me on the film because I smashed somebody.
Yeah.
And he was like, "He's gonna be a great player for us." So I'm gonna fast forward to that. So now we go to spring, going into my second year, and I got the best stats out of everybody in the secondary. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's the off season now, before we come back for camp, we was doing some DB workouts, and the starting DB, the safety, we was walking across the field, and there was no coaches. It was just the DBs. Well, the offense was on the first field with Percy Harvin and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Percy was a competitor. He was a real competitor, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And they say stuff, and we said something back. They were like, "Well, line it up then.
Yeah.
What y'all want to do?" So we lined it up. We don't need no coaches to tell us to play. We know the plays. They went deep. Boom. The starting safety came down wrong. So we like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? We go in the locker room, come back out. This man went to the MRI, came back the next day. He tore ACL.
Oh.
I'm the third string safety, so I'm down the line a little bit. So Major Wright, the starting free safety, the strong safety tears ACL.
Oh.
So instead of putting the guy that was second at first, they moved the guy from free safety behind Mays to put him at strong safety. The next day, I'm not even lying, bro. Watch God. The next day, he tears his ACL. Literally. So I'm like, dang, it's crazy. So now I'm second string safety at strong safety. The guy that was originally the second one, before they moved the guy in front of him, he go to first. So I remember I'm in Lakeland. I'm on 10th Street. I happen to go in the room, and it come on ESPN at the bottom. Florida safety got arrested. This man, did some fraud or something like that. So he out of school. So now without even playing, bro, I go from third string safety in the offseason to first without even playing it down, bro. So it's like, dang, like, is this guy really working for me?
Right.
But it got back to me from my DB coach that Urban didn't want me to play. Watch this. Guess what he said? I was too small and too slow. So I'm like, okay, cool. Coach was like, nah, you need to put him in there because he got the best numbers. He got the best stats. He was like, nah, he too small, too slow. We go out for camp. I'm pounding them people, man. I'm pounding them. Guess what I do my first game starting at the University of Florida? 2 picks, 9 tackles, ran one back for 80 yards. I'm going to close you with this. My last game at Florida, 2 picks, 11 tackles, ran one back 80 yards.
Woo! Hey, that ain't no way that I can end it better than that. But I'm going to leave, because I was going to ask him about his business to put his business, because it's real information to get out there. But we'll probably do that next time. I'm going to have all that in the information. But this was great, man. And I'm going to leave y'all how I always leave y'all. Keep your head up and not down. Now, else you'll fall to the ground. This is the Life in Football podcast. Catch you next time.